So-called plus-up payments are going to people whose 2020 tax returns show that they are owed more money. Some discrepancies occurred because initial payments were based on 2018 and 2019 returns. Changes to situations in 2020 that were not known at the time. Payments went out, and they could have resulted in lower payments for some people.
Some lawmakers have said that this proposed bill may negatively impact many low earners in the Social Security program. So watch to the end, everybody. There have been many discussions recently on Social Security in Congress. The Senate Finance Committee unanimously approved a series of proposals that make full congressional passage of a retirement improvement package more likely this year. The measure is called the Enhancing American Retirement Now Act, or the EARN Act. It contains some provisions that are same as or similar to those proposed in the House, which passed the Securing a Strong Retirement Act in a bipartisan 414-5 vote. Known as Secure Act 2.0, the bill is intended to build upon the original Secure Act of 2019, which ushered in changes aimed at increasing retirement security by increasing access to workplace savings plans, among other efforts. Chairman Ron Wyden, Finance Committee Chairman, told his colleagues, this act includes more than 70 proposals aimed at helping Americans save more money, the culmination of months of collaboration between just about every member of the committee, Democrats and Republicans. Together, everybody, the bill and the Senate's are the Senate's version of Secure 2.0. Many provisions on the Senate side are the same as what cleared in the House, including one to make it easier for employers to make contributions to 401k and similar workplace plans on behalf of employees who are making student loan payments instead of contributing to the retirement plan. Other similarities between the two chambers' proposals include allowing older workers to save more through what's called the catch-up contributions, and raising their age when savers can begin and must begin taking required minimum distributions from their retirement accounts. But the differences between these two chambers' proposals will need to be worked out before the full congressional approval could occur. Lawmakers said during the committee hearing that they are in conversation with their peers in the House to reach an agreement on the final version. Now, more than 236,000 Oregon families will each start to receive a $600 check this week under new state law that aim to aid low-income workers. Direct deposit or paper checks are going to people who lived in Oregon for the last 6 months of 2020. A tax break for low-income workers on their 2020 taxes as well. Single people who claim the credit earn less than $16,000, while married couples with 3 more children earn less than $57,000. More than 136,000 Oregon taxpayers will see the $600 deposited into their bank accounts before July 1st, while more than 99,000 more will find paper checks in their mailboxes over the coming days.
Now to our other top story, go ahead and check your bank account. Some people say they are already seeing their stimulus checks show up just 2 days after President Biden signed the American Rescue Plan into law. This first group of checks is going to people who have direct deposit set up through the IRS, and the next batch will be payments to taxpayers who did not provide direct deposit information with their 2019 or 2020 tax returns, and that is followed by paper checks or debit cards to those the IRS has no payment information for on file. But many still waiting, have more questions about the process, of course. So here at 11 Alive, we are where Atlanta speaks. So we are taking your questions to the experts tonight. Janu Her got some answers for you.
President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID relief package is expected to put stimulus payments in the pockets of about 85% of Americans, according to the United States Treasury Department. The government wasted no time in getting money to people with.
The First Amendment would prevent microchip companies from receiving taxpayer assistance unless they agree to issue warrants or equity stakes to the federal government. Private companies are going to benefit from over $53 billion in corporate welfare. The financial gains made by these companies must be shared with the American people, not just wealthy shareholders. In other words,
in total, almost $142 million will go to low-income households. Lawmakers who supported the program said it will allow these people in Oregon to pay for necessities like rent and groceries. And while Oregon's economy has recovered quickly from the crisis, we know this recovery was not the same felt all across of Oregon workers. That's what a Senate Democrat in the state said. The one-time payments come as inflation hit a 40-year high. In May, state economists reported that 80% of Oregon workers now earn less, adjusted for inflation. And rural residents in eastern and southern Oregon, where average incomes are lower, will benefit from these payments. Stay wide, everybody. These payments are going to help so many people. Folks, what are your thoughts on the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, assigned SSDI? And do you think that President Biden is going to do something about this? Lawmakers across the country have approved a new deadline, have approved a new round of stimulus checks. This new round of relief should begin to be paid out very soon in just a few weeks. And Congress is getting President Biden's spending bill, trying to get it passed by a new deadline. The three states, California, Delaware, and Indiana, are expected to make payments this month, while the city of Chicago is set to provide prepaid gas cards and transit cards. Eligible residents of California are set to receive payments under two stimulus packages passed last year: the first Golden State stimulus and the second Golden State stimulus. The state's residents will receive a check for either $600 or $1,200 in the first stimulus package, and a check for up to $1,100 under the second package. Some may receive lower payments under the second Golden State stimulus, depending on whether they qualified for the first Golden State stimulus. Californians who earn less than $75,000 will qualify this year. And in the state of Delaware, it's planned to issue a tax rebate by the end of the year. Individual filers are set to receive $300, and people filing jointly can get a rebate of $600. Delaware's Department of Finance told reporters recently the state anticipates sending the first round of payments based on 2020 return data. The Department of Finance also said they expect to make further rounds of payments. Any person who filed their taxes in the state of Indiana before January 3rd will be eligible. Paper checks may not be issued until July or August, but those who provided banking information with the 2021 tax returns will receive direct checks. And now, Democrats will continue their attempts to revive the sweeping climate and spending bill as the new congressional work period begins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I'd like to direct my question first to Matt Seaholm, because I thought that Chairman in waiting, Kathy McMorris Rogers, raised some good points because of the problem we should have learned through COVID, that we need more plastics, not less. So, Matt, on these questions, there are two of the bills impose a 3-year moratorium on permits for plastic facilities, and that's to allow the EPA to develop environmental air quality standards. Now, we fully respect after 3 years of developing this, and we know it'll take 3 years to develop those, then they're going to go through a series of litigation. They always have. And then after the litigation's resolved, then we're going to move over to where actually these plastic manufacturers will have to have design and construct those facilities. So we could have a prolonged period of time. So my question is, how long do you think this pause could actually last?
Well, thank you for the question. That's certainly our biggest concern. Is it's considered a temporary pause, but because of the way it is written, there's no, for certain end date for that pause. In the meantime, we've got members who have to apply for permits every 5 years, and any expansion or new component of their facilities could trigger this temporary pause and ultimately result in potentially shutdowns or simply moving production to a different place. And that was one of the points that I made is that the moratorium is more likely to